Everyone can agree that short-term changes are a whole lot easier than lifetime changes. Making a New Year's resolution to work out on your new treadmill, well, that might yield great results throughout the month of January. But by late April, that treadmill may be one of the bargains in your garage sale. You had all the sincerity in the world to be a brand new and better you that first month, but, well, things happened. And walking on a treadmill going nowhere lost its luster within a couple of months. And this turned out to be one more failure in the area of willpower. Beating diabetes can work the same way. You get motivated for a short while. Hope arises in your heart. Maybe, just maybe, you can whip this monster. But after a while, eating hamburger patties and salads gets mighty old and you start cheating. First a day here and there, and after a while your cheat days outnumber your good days. And a little while longer, well, you're just right back where you started. A high A1C, a lousy diet, and all the hope you once had has drained right out of you. But overcoming diabetes is a lot different than losing a few pounds or getting in better shape. Many people understand that this really is a life or death crisis. Your compliance or non-compliance with a lifestyle that crushes diabetes can and probably will determine your future, how long you live, and what quality of life you have over the last decade or more that you're on this earth. And knowing this should provide you quite a bit more motivation than those folks who just want to lose a few pounds in the new year or become a little more fit. Still, for many, it's not easy. Human beings do not do well with changes of lifestyle, especially when they reach middle age or later. We've been living and eating a certain way all our life up till now, and everything in us resists the idea of major changes. But if you really do want to reverse your diabetes, you're going to have to get used to some pretty big changes, not merely for 4 or 6 months, but for the rest of your life. There is, however, an easy way and a hard way to employ and adopt a new diabetes-crushing lifestyle. And my recommendation is that you do it the easy way, not the hard way. Or maybe I should just say the easier way. Let's consider the diet that lowers blood sugar faster and more efficiently than any other diet known to men and women, the low-carb/keto diet. When you drastically cut down on the carbohydrate in your diet, you stop feeding logs onto the bonfire of diabetes. And eventually, when there's no fuel to enable diabetes to thrive in your body, that fire is going to go out. If you ask me, what does this diet look like? What kind of meals should I eat? Well, I could give you a complex answer and list 100 different meals that would qualify as low carb. Or if I wanted to simplify things, I could just tell you to eat any meat with no bread coating on it and any salad with no croutons or fruit in it and use a very low-carb dressing. Or if I wanted to make things even simpler, I could just say that for every meal, you should eat exactly the same 2 foods, hamburger patties and cucumbers. Doesn't matter how many, whatever it takes to satisfy you. If you like, eat 2 or 3 hamburger patties and 3 or 4 cucumbers. Just eat that meal and repeat it the next meal and the next day and the next week, and just keep on eating those burger patties and those cucumbers, and probably within 6 months or maybe sooner, you're going to reach the land of non-diabetic glucose levels. In fact, I could write a book titled Beat Diabetes in 6 months, and the book would only need 1 page, which would say just keep eating hamburger patties and cucumbers for every meal until you reach a non-diabetic A1C. Unless you're a type 1 diabetic, that advice would probably do the job for nearly everyone. But that book would not sell very well, and that advice would not impress very many people. Not because it wouldn't work, but because people crave variety, both in their diet and in their lives. A monotonous diet and a monotonous lifestyle would just not sit well for most people, and that would be me included. You might be fine with it for a few weeks, but after a while you'd soon drop that bland and boring diet, crying out, "Give me something else, anything else besides hamburger patties and cucumbers." My working title for this video is A Diabetes-Crushing Lifestyle You Can Live With. And that's because I want to give you some ideas about how to craft your diet and lifestyle in such a way you can do it for this month and next year and 10 years from now and for the rest of your life. And I have a little bit of expertise in this area because I've done exactly that. Not that my life is over, but I've been doing it for 20 years. By most people's standards, I've been eating low carb for the last 20 years, and I'm not bored. I'm not exhausted, nor am I tempted the least little bit to fall away and go back to the poisonous foods I ate from birth to the latter part of my 40s. Despite eating a diet that is radically different from the way most Americans eat, I do not feel deprived, nor do I go around singing the blues because I cannot indulge in potato chips, French fries, and Cocoa Puffs breakfast cereal. No, I do not eat the normal standard American diet, but on the other hand, I do not lack for variety either. I've discovered all kinds of keto/low-carb substitutes for most of the foods I gave up. I enjoy keto desserts such as chocolate peanut clusters, sugar-free ice cream with chocolate syrup on it, cheesecakes, chocolate brownies with nuts on top and whipped cream, and other sugar-free treats that taste great. But they do almost nothing to spike my blood sugar. And I know that's the case because I've tested those treats with post-meal glucose tests and have found they work for me beautifully. I enjoy many different meals and a variety of low-carb vegetables and all sorts of meat and cheese, high-fat dairy, eggs. I eat tacos with low-carb tortillas. I eat low-carb pizza. And I turn chaffles into a bagel substitute, topping them with cream cheese and everything bagel seasoning. Sometimes, like I did today, I eat a chaffle as a waffle, topping it with melted butter and sugar-free syrup and some pecans. Life is good. Now, the point I'm trying to make is this. If you're going to have a chance at making a diabetes-beating diet something you can live with, not just for a little while, but for the rest of your life, you're going to have to do some research and watch some YouTube videos that will teach you to make all kinds of low-carb meals and desserts. You cannot sit on your couch and hope that inspiration is just going to fall on you from heaven. Get up off that couch, try some recipes, do some experiments in the kitchen. Begin to build up a repertoire of meals and desserts that you will enjoy and that can become go-to foods you will be eating the rest of your life. One of the biggest safeguards against falling away from the lifestyle you know you have to adopt is variety. You must keep learning and growing in your diet. And I still am. Since doing these challenges the last couple of years, my diet has improved significantly. I'm eating better than I have since 2002 when I first started slashing away at those carbohydrates. And this is why I encourage you to try some of the meals that I point you to in the links in the emails that I'm sending you every week. Sure, hamburger patties and cucumbers could do the job, and if that were your only choice, then that's exactly what you should do. But there are a gazillion choices and options for low-carb meals and desserts. Never, ever have there been more wonderful and delicious choices for diabetics and recipes and meal ideas. It would be absolutely foolish to never investigate and never experiment in the kitchen with low-carb meals. Stretch out your wings and fly, my friend. There's a great big low-carb culinary world out there, so go check it out and start crafting a diabetes-beating, A1C-lowering, blood sugar normalizing diet which will demolish diabetes and drive it far from your house. Another way to make your lifestyle permanent is to stay motivated by testing your glucose regularly and getting A1Cs done frequently. Now, you can either do an A1C test at a lab or you can do those 5 glucose tests that I recommend in those emails. It has been said that the price of liberty is eternal vigilance, and that is just as true with diabetes and blood sugar as it is with democracy. If you start cheating too much and getting sloppy with your diet, your fasting blood sugar and your A1C scores will reveal it and let you know it's time to repent and go back the other way. If you used to have a fasting blood sugar in the upper 90s milligrams per deciliter and now it's around 115 or 120, well, you know it's time to take action. Or if your A1C was 5.5 6 months ago, but now it's 6.1, it's time to repent. Take stock of how and why you've been slipping and get back to where you were before. You cannot just assume that just because you once got your blood sugar down to near normal levels, it's automatically going to stay there for the rest of your years. Another thing that's going to help you to maintain a lifestyle you can live with is to avoid the trap of becoming a keto purist. Some people become so fanatical about eating clean keto and they obsess so much on the quality of the beef they eat or the butter they buy, they can no longer enjoy their life. They don't feel good unless they're eating a cow they've pastured in their backyard. Worse than that, they'll also leave comments for newly diagnosed, scared-to-death diabetics, shaming them for not being pure enough in their diet. My advice to such people is this: if this is how you want to live, well, that's fine. But don't leave comments on my channel shaming people who are just getting started in learning how to make serious changes in their diet. If they want to eat an occasional piece of keto bread or have a keto bar as a dessert or drink a diet soda, don't make them feel terrible like they're losers. These foods or drinks are not going to make them all fall down dead in 15 minutes. Let them get to the promised land of non-diabetic glucose levels, and then if they want to go deeper and eat a purer keto diet, so be it. Wherever you are in your journey, you're going to need to find and establish a rhythm of living that works for you. You'll need to establish a target A1C that you're satisfied with. It's not my job or my place to tell you what your target should be, and those targets can change. For quite a while after adopting a low-carb diet, I had an A1C in the upper 5s. I was pretty satisfied with that, even though I knew it was pre-diabetic. But after a while, I became dissatisfied. I thought, I can do better than this. So I cut my carbs some more. I changed from 3 meals a day to 2 meals a day, and my numbers dropped accordingly. But I did this because I wanted to, not because somebody was shaming me into it. In theological terms, I'm talking about liberty versus law. Under the law, you try to do things because you feel you have to do them. Perhaps somebody is shaming you to do it, or commanding you to do it, or preaching at you to do it. And so you try to change, but you don't really want to change, and you make your changes grudgingly and reluctantly, and they usually do not last. Now that's being under the law, and it is essentially a position of slavery. You're doing something you don't really want to do because someone is pressuring you to do it. But under liberty, which is infinitely superior, you develop the desire to change. Not to please someone else, not because your doctor is shaming you or your spouse is forcing you. You've learned enough, and you've come to see the beauty of what it means to have victory over diabetes, and suddenly the whole thing sounds awesome to you. You want to change. You want to beat diabetes. Motivation explodes within you, and that's when you can say to yourself, I can beat diabetes. In fact, I want to beat diabetes. I can do this thing, and I will do it. And I can hardly wait to go back to my doctor and hear him or her say to me, you've done it. And how in the world did you bring your glucose down in such a short time? If you've recently been diagnosed with diabetes and you've just discovered this channel, let me recommend that you go to our Uploads page, which will give you access to every diabetic video we've posted since we began. As you work your way through all our videos, I believe you'll find the help you need. A link to our Uploads page is in the description.